Have you ever had an inner world that felt, well, just as real as this one? A place so vivid, so detailed, that it's like a second home, a secret life that's all yours? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and dive right into the psychology of these incredibly powerful fantasies and daydreams.
And I think this quote is the absolute perfect place to kick things off because it kind of flips what we usually think on its head, right? The idea that fantasy isn't just about escaping reality, but actually a tool for understanding it, a way to check in with ourselves, not just check out.
So let's really dig into just how powerful these inner worlds can be. Because for a lot of us, they're not just these little fleeting thoughts. No, they are complex, deeply felt, almost parallel realities. I mean, think back to when you were a teenager. There's this great example of someone whose fanfiction world was everything. It wasn't really just about a crush on a boy band. It was this private universe where she could feel seen, where she was in control, a place to practice dealing with all those big, overwhelming emotions. It was a secret training ground for life itself. And that leads us to the big question, the one we're really exploring today. When we get lost in these incredible worlds, are we just running away from our problems? Or is there something much, much deeper going on here? Something way more profound? Okay, so what if I told you that this tendency to daydream isn't a weakness, but actually a sign of a pretty unique psychological strength? To get our heads around that, we've got to look at the incredible work of a psychologist named Jerome. So way back in the 1960s, Singer came up with this term, positive constructive daydreaming. He was basically saying, hey, not all mind wandering is created equal. This specific kind is active, it's creative, it has a structure. It's not about getting stuck in these painful loops of thought. It's about using your imagination to literally open up new possibilities for yourself. And when you look at what this kind of daydreaming actually does for us, it's amazing. Your mind becomes this inner rehearsal studio where you can practice for that tough conversation you need to have. It's a release valve for when emotions get too intense. You're literally developing real-world skills like empathy and problem solving all inside your own head. And get this, this isn't just some old theory from the 60s. Modern neuroscience totally backs this up. Brain scans show that a part of our brain called the default mode network, which is tied to thinking about ourselves in the future, it just lights up like a Christmas tree during these daydreams. These are not idle fantasies. They're incredibly complex neural simulations. Our brains are literally running models of the future. How cool is that? Okay, so we get the function of this daydreaming, but where does it all happen? What's the psychological space this takes place in? Well, another psychoanalyst, D.W. Winnicott, had a really fascinating idea about this. Winnicott called it the transitional space. And the best way to understand it is to think about a little kid with their favorite security blanket. It's not just a piece of cloth, right? It exists in this special third place, somewhere between the child's inner world of feelings and the real external world. It's a bridge that connects the two. And guess what? As adults, we still need this space. It's where we go when we get lost in a good book or a movie or a piece of music. It's a safe zone where we can try on different identities and figure out what we want. In fact, Winnicott believed this transitional space is, and I love this, the place where we truly live. But, and this is a really important but, this powerful inner world can go one of two ways. It can be a bridge that helps you connect to a better life, or it can become a cage that keeps you stuck. So here's the absolute crucial point. Is your fantasy a bridge? Or is it a cage? A constructive daydream, that's the bridge. It's flexible, it leads you outward, it helps you prepare for reality. But a dysfunctional daydream, that's the cage. It's rigid, it traps you in these painful, repeating loops, and it starts to replace reality instead of preparing you for it. So how do we make sure our fantasy life is always a bridge? Well, it starts by learning to listen. Really listen to the messages that are hidden inside our deepest, most intense daydreams. Because if you look at it this way, your most powerful fantasy isn't just an escape, it's actually a wake-up call. It's your own mind creating a special language for a really deep, unmet need, a longing that your conscious mind might be trying to ignore. To really get a feel for this, let me share this one scene from a novel. It's about two people finding each other again after some really hard times, and it starts like this. He pushes aside all the terrible experiences and once shattered dreams. It's as if she was looking at the sun. He shines, but he doesn't blind her. She sees him, her heart, her life. I mean, just feel that for a second. It's not just about love, is it? It's about being truly seen. It's about hope coming back after everything felt lost.
And then, his softly curved lips sink onto hers, and with that longing pressure of loving tenderness, melt away all the sharp edges.
See? That powerful feeling in that scene, it isn't just a fantasy escape. It is a perfect mirror. It's reflecting a real, profound need for safety, for tenderness, for a connection so strong it can actually heal old wounds. It shows you exactly what's missing and what desperately wants to be seen.
So now I want you to turn that question to yourself. Think about your own most powerful daydreams. Go beyond the story and the characters for a minute and just focus on the feeling. What is that feeling trying to tell you about what you truly need more of in your actual waking life?
Because in the end, the goal isn't to stop daydreaming. Not at all. It's to understand its purpose. So ask yourself this. Is your inner world just a safe refuge you hide in? Or can you learn to read it as a roadmap, one that's guiding you toward a more real and a more fulfilling life? Now, if this really resonated with you and you want to dive a little deeper, the source for this explainer is the book Loving an Illusion by Anne Skye. There's also a really supportive community called Limerence Pathfinders on the Skool platform. And that's all for now. Thank you so much for joining me.